Hello everyone and welcome to a special episode of the MoeGamer podcast. I'm Pete Davison from MoeGamer.net and I'm joined by not one but two of the best people on the internet today. So, chaps, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves today if that's okay.
Yes. So, hopefully you guys are used to hearing my voice by now. I'm Cris from MrGilderPixels.com. How's everybody doing?
And I am Joe from Erichannel on Twitch TV. It's good to be back.
Excellent stuff. Right, so the reason I've got slightly more people than usual together today is that with it just being sort of E3 wrapping up at the time of recording, we wanted to have a nice big chat about all the things that have happened that we're excited about, that look interesting and that sort of thing. So it's going to be a slightly different format to usual today. Rather than starting with the news, we're going to save all our E3 discussion for our main topic of the day. So it's going to be a combination of news and the main topic, which means we're going to kick off with a bit of chat about what we've been playing recently, because I know Cris and I have got some stuff we want to talk about. Joe, I'm sure there's some things you want to talk about that you've been streaming or playing as well. So who would like to begin?
Do we want to discuss our mutual fevers?
Oh, that's as good a place as any to start, I think, isn't it? So, I actually don't know how you pronounce the name of this game. Do you say the cross or not?
I don't think you say the cross.
Yeah. Okay. Lapis Labyrinth. Then that's agreed. We'll call it that. So, Lapis Labyrinth is Nippon Ichi's new game, which had been teased for a little while and then sort of quietly snuck out probably a few weeks back now, wasn't it? And it's good. It's real good. Have you played this at all yet, Jay?
Yeah, I played one stream of it, and every time I did, it felt like I was playing through a casino, through the levels,
exactly.
Like all kinds of lights and sounds. It was just overwhelming. I was like, what's this? What's that? What's going on? I'm just trying to get through this, and it's just total sensory overload, but it's fun.
Oh, it's absolute chaos. So for those who haven't seen what this is all about yet, this is a combination of things, really. So it's ostensibly an action RPG, but it's also got some platform gaming in there. It's got some shoot-'em-up style mechanics in there, particularly with regard to power-ups and scoring and that sort of thing. So what it basically is an arcade-style action RPG with a strong focus on attaining high scores and combos. And so the way it works is you take a team of 4 adventurers who stack up in this adorable little dango stack, and you control the one that's on the bottom, and then you have access to the special abilities of the other ones, or you can switch between them. And you work your way through a series of stages. In each stage you have to find these purple diamonds to unlock the exit, and along the way you beat up monsters and get treasure. But the sort of core thing that's going on here is there's a combo count for how much treasure you've collected without taking any damage. And so the game is not about being especially challenging in terms of the combat itself. It's a game about not getting hit, so you can get this combo as high as possible and attain high scores, because the higher your combo is, the higher the score multiplier goes up and the more treasure you get, and the more you get exciting flashy lights and things. So there's this mechanic in here that's inspired by sort of pachinko machines, I think, called Fever, which is similar to what happens in a pachinko machine when you get like a whole torrent of balls comes out of the machine. In this, when you've collected a certain amount of treasure, you enter Fever mode, and there's this incredibly infectiously energetic music starts playing, fireworks start going off in the background, and suddenly everything you touch explodes into gems, and it's absolute chaos. And in order to allow you to enjoy that to the maximum, you are completely invincible while Fever is going on as well. So you can just keep beating the shit out of things and hitting blocks and watching all the pretty colours fly around the screen and lots of points. And it's incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, I think to me, the pachinko thing is really what's interesting. Is I always like to pay attention to the deep mechanical design theories behind specifically Nippon Ichi games. And a lot of their games are always like, it's this plus this. So really what they've done here is tried to meld the aesthetic and like the viscerally satisfying feel of pachinko to an action RPG. And they've done it incredibly well. It's really, really interesting to me to play. Because pachinko, in a similar vein to the way this game is constructed, you can't really lose at pachinko. You can just not get as good a score at pachinko. You just play till you're done. And Lapis kind of feels the same way. Like, even if you're not, it's a great game to play if you want a relaxing time too, because it's a little easygoing, and the challenge is how much you want to challenge yourself to attain those scores. And I really appreciate games like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm the one scaling the difficulty based on my own goals.
Yeah, I mean, technically there's no real way to fail as such. So, like, even if you run out of time on a level or get caught by the phantom that appears when you do that and you supposedly fail the quest, you still get a bunch of rewards for it. You don't get quite as many as if you completed the quest successfully, but you still get some stuff. So you're making progress all the time, even if you don't technically succeed at what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and there's no punishments for failure. Yeah. There's no permadeath, which is so popular these days. Like, no, you can just keep developing your little dudes. Like, there's no loss.
Yeah, and there's it kind of opens up more and more progression mechanics as you go through as well. So there's this a system in it where your characters reset to level 1 every time you start a new dungeon run, but there's an element of sort of persistent progression in terms of their equipment, which is probably the most important thing. And then as you clear the early dungeons, you start unlocking these other elements. So first of all, you unlock a place where you can get these grimoires, which allow you just a permanent flat increase to things like hit points and attack and resistance and stuff. Then the next one, you unlock the blacksmith, which allows you to upgrade your weapons and attach various abilities to them. Then the bit I've just got to, which is after completing the third dungeon, you unlock the dojo, which allows you to buff specific aspects of a character up to a certain point, and then you can increase the cap on that and so on. And so it seems like it's really simple to begin with, but the further you go in it, the more and more sort of distinctively Nipponichi stuff you start coming across. It's there's a lot of depth there.
Yeah, classic Nipponichi, really.
I think it's a game that's really well suited for portable play too on the Nintendo Switch, because it's quick and casual. You can pick it up, you can put it down at any time, and it doesn't really demand a lot of your time with each session.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's become a game that I play like out in the morning before work. Like, if I just finished my breakfast and I've got 15 minutes before I've got to drive to work, like, I fire off a couple runs in that, and it's really pleasant to be able to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like a single run takes no more than about 10 minutes or so, because each floor has a 5-minute time limit, and most of the dungeons I've done so far have been no more than like 3 or 4 floors in total. So yeah, you can do a complete run of one of these stages in the game in 15 minutes or so. It's great. There's a certain amount of mobile game DNA in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, very much so. Especially with the way the missions end. So, like, when the mission ends, based on your performance, you're allotted a certain number of keys. And then you're presented with 3 treasure chests that will contain loot. You're given a clue as to what type of item they contain. And then you have to choose which of those 3 treasure chests you want to open. You can keep opening treasure chests until you've spent all your keys. So there's a heavy gacha element there, but no microtransactions. So really what they've done here is they've melded the kind of gimme roulette wheel slot machine addiction factor and satisfaction that's inherent in a gacha mobile game, but they've rid it of all like the pleasant pain or whatever terminology that the mobile game writers assign to shit like this. So it's literally just all pleasure with zero punishments, and like, okay, so you didn't pick the right treasure chest, cool, you can do another run, you can replay any of the missions. So it's just all satisfaction with like no letdown.
Yeah.
It just tickles all the pleasure centers of your brain. It's like uniquely designed to do so. It's consistent rewards, consistent progression, and a really wholesome, welcoming, beautiful visual aesthetic.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah, this game is ace, and of course we will be the only people who give it any lip service.
That's how it is.
Yeah, That said, I have been looking around at sort of reactions to this elsewhere, and it seems to have been received pretty positively by a lot of people. Like I've even seen sort of reasonably high-profile people like Jim Sterling covering it and being quite positive about it as well, which is unusual for this kind of game. So I think it will be acknowledged. I don't think it's going to sell a lot of copies or anything like that, but I think it will certainly be appreciated, but it could probably be a little more appreciated as always. But so if you fancy something that's a bit of fun and will keep you busy for 10-15 minutes at a time, then yeah, Lapis Labyrinth definitely worth your time.
Also the cuties.
Oh yeah. Cute, chibi, chubby cuties, definitely. The words, whatever. I like the necromancer.
Yeah, and I like the mage because she has kitty ears.
Yes. Yeah, she's my main at the minute, just because she does astronomical amounts of damage if you upgrade her weapon as much as I have.
Yeah. The nun is great too, with her like jabby spear. Because she does like the lightning fast, like 100 jabs.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, as tempting as it is to make this a Lapis Labyrinth podcast, let's move on a little bit. So, Joe, do you want to talk a bit about what you've been playing or what you've been streaming lately?
Yeah, I can get into a little bit of both, but man, I've been playing so much lately. So, off stream, I've been playing a lot of mobile games. I've been playing Dragalia Lost. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot going on in the game right now. They just released a new Void Dragon. So, for those who don't know, the game has a progression system where it has an end game. You face one of 3 high dragons, which are the hardest opponents in the game. And the game has a very heavy co-op element. So they're kind of like... They're like legitimate bosses. They have all these mechanics and things. It's kind of like a mini-raid, for those of you familiar with MMO terminology. So right now, a lot of players are trying to gear up using the Void Dragon to get to the High Dragon. And they release a bunch of weapons, and it's a pretty quiet period in the game. But my friends and I are trying to go together to take on one of the high dragons. We have to upgrade all our equipment, all our buildings, and everything. Dragalia has like a building system, kind of like I don't want to say like Farmville, but it develops in kind of the same way, where you have to invest resources to upgrade your buildings, which in turn makes your adventurers stronger, and there's all kinds of ways to strengthen everything, so that's more or less what I'm working on right now. Nothing too exciting there. On stream, I'm playing Fatal 12. I started Fatal 12. It's a visual novel about a competition in the afterlife where 12 people who died at the same time have to eliminate each other in sort of a kind of magical battle royale match to get a second chance at living. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to come at you with a gun and grenades. No, it's not that kind of battle royale. To eliminate someone else in the game, you have to know their name, you have to know how they died, and you have to know their regret. So, the participants are people from like all around the world, and they have to learn about each other and learn about their motivations, their personalities, and everything. And it's just really, really, really interesting overall. So I'm probably going to be wrapping that up soon, but I've been really, really enjoying that so far. There's some Yuri elements too in it for people who like that, but I don't want to spoil too much.
I was gonna say, so for people, because we don't call people who don't like that people. We call them monsters.
Of course. Yeah, so I was looking to wrap that up soon, and tonight we're going to be playing some Tekken 7 as a group. And next week, I'm looking to play Bloodstained very soon.
Yes.
Followed by Judgment. And
are we all backers here? I think we're all backers.
I am a backer. Full disclosure, I am a backer. I backed at the $60 level to get the GOG physical version. So what they said in their email for PC players is that we would get a code on release date, and then the actual physical version would be following thereafter. It's just that the console versions got shipped out first. So that's where I'm at.
I kind of wish they'd sorted this out a little bit earlier, because what this basically means is that the physical PC version is going to be complete. It's going to have all the stuff in it, whereas the console versions, because they had to arrange them so early, there's no way that they can include all the post-launch DLC on the cartridge or disc or whatever. So I kind of wish I'd known that a bit sooner. Otherwise, it might have plumped for the PC version. But as it is, I'm getting it on Switch. So you know,
there's totally going to be a complete edition down the line.
I'm sure there will be, and I'll buy it again like a sucker I am. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it so long as I get to play day one. I have no complaints there, and I've been looking forward to it for a really long time. So I'm hoping that it turns out great.
I mean,
but after that, I was going to take a break because I'm going to go away to Anime Expo the first week of July. So that should be a lot of fun.
Cool. All right. Well, plenty on your plate then, certainly, and I think we're all looking forward to Bloodstained. So yeah,
I keep forgetting about Bloodstained. Like in 4 days, we're gonna have a new EGA game.
I know.
Like when was the last EGAvania? When was that was the one with what's her name?
That was yes, Order of Ecclesia on the Nintendo DS. His last great Metroidvania.
Is that we don't use that word around here.
Oh, we don't? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we had banned words here.
He's new.
We had a whole podcast on why we don't like the word Metroidvania anymore. It's fine. It's fine. We'll allow it. Has there really not been a Castlevania on 3DS aside from Mirror of Fate?
There has
just Mirror of Fate.
That's it.
That's crazy.
Which is a great game, but it doesn't feel like like an EGA game. Yeah, so
that's bonkers.
Been a long time since this guy's made something for us.
Yeah, well, hopefully it is everything that everyone hoped for. I actually watched some of the trailers for the first time recently, and I love the trailer where he shows the graphical improvements, and like he's just. There's just like it's showing footage of the game with all like Steam comments of people whinging about the graphics and so on, and then he's just sitting in his throne. He throws the wine glass aside and he's like, "I will show them. I'll show them all." And then he's like doing a split screen. On the left hand side it says "poop," and then the right hand side it says "new." It's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I had to express some concern because I know that Inti Creates was moving over to make that 8-bit game. But the 8-bit game turned out really well, and now that Way Forward is on this, I still have faith in the project because Way Forward has a very strong pedigree when it comes to making games of this sort, especially with their Shantae series. So I think it's safe to have high hopes for this one.
Yeah, very excited. All right, Chris, have you got anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, you know what I've been fooling around with lately? A little game that's available on like every platform known to man, because it actually started on the mobile phone, but it's not like a mobile game. It's just a game that happens to be on mobile. It's like a fully featured game. It doesn't have like microtransactions and stuff. It's called Siralim 2. So it was, I'm playing it on the Vita. Limited Run did a pressing of it a few months ago, and it's a truckload of fun.
Yeah,
it's basically just. Imagine the infinite everything ethos of an NIS game, like a Disgaea or like a Lapis Labyrinth, like we were talking about, but applied to a Pokemon / Shin Megami Tensei style monster collecting game.
Well, this sounds right up your alley.
It's yes, it's a very fine time. So you basically just, I mean, this thing was clearly made in RPG Maker with like the fonts and the menus are like, it's all ugly, like stock fonts and like stock resources, but it just plays really solid. It's like you're like the king of this kingdom who can like raise monsters, trying to like defend the kingdom from some kind of like overarching like galaxy threatening like threat and whatever. And the way you do this is by like talking to your crystal and like delving into these dungeons, which are all randomly generated, and every time you dive into these dungeons, they're basically they build a floor for you based off of a collection of elements. I think there was maybe like 12 different elements or themes. Then that dictates the layout of the dungeon, what monsters you'll be able to fight and collect in that dungeon. And it just like goes on like to infinity. Like I think you can level your monsters up to like 999 or whatever. And like
nice.
You can breed them and like crossbreed them. You can break them down and then reincarnate them with stats so they're more powerful next time. And it's just all the classic stuff you expect from a monster collecting game. So, like, there's a tree of elemental weaknesses that all interrelate. And it's just great. You also, the monsters can be equipped with weapons. The weapons themselves also level up from use, can be tinkered with at a blacksmith. So, like, if you're like a guy who likes RPGs that are narrative light but mechanically focused, Siralim is a massive time sink in a very positive way. It's just old school pixel art and Dragon Quest style combat, where it's just like you see the monsters in front of you, they stand, they're all square shaped. But it's just a little indie thing, and I'm having a ton of fun with it because of just the random generation for the stage layouts and the sheer volume of content. It's a great little Vita treat to tinker with.
Oh, cool. Sounds great. I've not heard of that one before. I mean, I've heard the name before, I think, but I didn't know anything about it. But yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, but I think you can just dive right into 2. I think it's a bit more mechanically polished than the original. And like I said, narrative is not important, so I would just check out 2. But yeah, Siralim 2, it's really neat.
Cool. All right. Last thing I want to talk about is Kotodama, the 7 Mysteries of Fujisawa. Which is the first game that P-Cube developed in collaboration with a Japanese company called Art Co Limited, I think they're called. But yeah, this is a really cool game. This is mostly a visual novel, but it's got puzzle game sequences in it as well. So it is not, as some people have accused it of, being a Honey Pop clone, because it's not a dating sim and it has a narrative rather than just characters being entertaining. And yeah, it's kind of a sort of mystery / horror story. And so the idea is based around sort of the fairly common thing you get in a lot of anime and games that are set in school environments, which is that the school has it has seven legendary mysteries surrounding it, and you are the new kid at school. And you start hearing about these mysteries, and you get roped into investigating them by the Occult Research Club that apparently all Japanese schools have. But the twist is you transferred out of your old school for mysterious reasons that are probably something to do with the fact that you made a pact with the demon that allows you to see the truth inside of people's hearts by manipulating their emotions.
Standard high school shit.
Like in every Japanese high school, yes.
There's always one.
Yeah, exactly. So the way this unfolds is that on your first playthrough, you go through a pretty linear storyline. There aren't many choices to make, and you end up at a point where something, I won't spoil it, but something goes wrong. And you end up going back to the start of the story. And then something goes very wrong, and then you go back to the start of the story again. And from that point on, you then have a lot more choices that you're able to make along the way that allows you to delve a lot more deeply into these mysteries and uncover the actual truth behind them. And so, yeah, the sort of flow of it is basically there's a bunch of visual novel stuff. You then have a sequence in which you can go between different areas in the school, and different things happen according to the order that you do things in. There's an in-game social network it's called Quacker, but it's obviously Twitter. But certain events are dependent on you having read messages on there as well. So, for example, you might see some people discussing one of the kids at the school, and they say, I know this kid, he's the childhood friend of the librarian or something like that. And if you've read that tweet, you will then know when you next go to the library to ask the librarian about being childhood friends with him. And so there's all sorts of interdependencies like that. And so your aim in each chapter is to uncover the complete mystery. When you uncover the complete mystery, you get a significant advantage in the puzzle game sequences, in that all what were previously obstacle gems become these rainbow gems that make it much more easy to attain the point total you need to complete each of those sequences. And so the puzzle game sequences are a depiction of, like I say, you manipulating the characters' emotions to try and get them to admit something that they're either repressing or they don't want to talk about. And in doing so, you it's like a grid of gems, but it doesn't play like Bejeweled, so it's not swapping gems. What you do is you click on a gem, and it sends that gem up to the top of the column that it's in, and then you have to make lines of 3 or more by doing that. Because it's a very different way of manipulating the board to something like Bejeweled as well. It takes a bit of adjusting to, but it's it's really interesting strategic gameplay in those sequences. There's lots of people in their underwear because you are apparently imagining stripping away the layers of truth as just stripping off their clothes. So that's
Fun. So that sequence you were talking about, it reminded me a lot of that thing you do in Phoenix Wright, where you have to undo the witness's psycholocks. You have to break through by presenting evidence. So is there any of that involved?
It's not a full-on adventure game, so there's no sort of inventory manipulation or presenting objects or anything like that. It's all to do with the context in which you reach these various scenes. So like I say, if you checked Quacker before you speak to a particular character, your protagonist will know to mention something. Otherwise, they might not remember it. But then there's also the twist that the protagonist remembers the previous playthroughs as well, so that he will reach particular situations and know that, oh, right, I should keep this person away from this location at this time because otherwise something bad will happen, and you'll get reminders that way as well. So it's not quite a full-on adventure game like Phoenix Wright is, but there's certainly elements of that sort of thing there. And so I am currently at the point where things go wrong in your first playthrough, and I think I've done everything I need to actually be able to proceed past that now. And then there's 2 more chapters after that to finish off the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all concludes. But it's a really fun game with a really interesting structure. And the fact that it's got this interesting structure means that you can immediately tell from a review of it whether the reviewer actually bothered to finish it or not.
Yeah,
I like that.
So yeah, that's definitely worth checking out. I'm enjoying that a lot. And I hope we see some more stuff from P-Cube then, because I hope this is a successful. I mean, it seems to have been quite well received by a lot of smaller sites and YouTubers and that sort of thing. So that's good. I hope that encourages them to keep doing what they do.
Oh, speaking of P-Cube, I know they have Gun Pixies coming out, and I saw a listing on PlayAsia for a Day 1 edition with an art book. So
nice.
I know that's going to be a thing in the EU. I don't know if it's going to be available in the US. I kind of hope it is, because I'd rather not have to import that, but...
Yeah, you can definitely get it natively here, because I pre-ordered it on Amazon as soon as it became available. But yeah, I don't know about North America, so can't help you there, I'm afraid. But have a look around. If not, you can probably import the European version from Amazon if Amazon Europe ships to the US. Because I know that Amazon US ships to Europe, so...
Yeah, I'd have to check
the other
on
way
that.
around, though.
There are also loads of sellers on eBay that sell EU games with free shipping to the US. Yeah. I got my copy of... I have an EU copy of the complete edition of Bloodborne that I got for a very inexpensive price, shipped to the US for free.
Oh, that's cool.
I got a copy of... Well, that Anima, Gate of Memories... the only way to get the physical version in the US originally for the PS4 was this big, stupid collector's edition that had all this stuff in it I didn't want for $60.
Yeah.
So there was a $30 version in the EU that I got shipped here for free from eBay. So cool. If getting EU copies of games is something you're after, I recommend checking eBay as well. I've been trying to do that myself for the second Shadow of Mordor game.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because the complete edition in the US, all the DLC isn't on the disc.
Oh,
it's just like programmed on the disc to prompt you to download it.
Right.
But for some reason, it is all on the disc in the EU version.
Oh, that's weird.
So it's worth importing. Yeah. But yeah, eBay is a really good place to check for import stuff if you don't want to pay the exorbitant shipping fees from PlayAsia.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's a nice mix of stuff there. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up before we move on?
I do, but I'm going to keep some of them in reverse in case I don't have anything fresh for next time. Because I hate when I come to the table and it's like, Chris, what have you been playing?
Nothing.
If by playing you mean painting, then everything. But no, I just buy video games. I don't play them.
Yeah, I think I've brought up everything that I plan to do, so I'm good.
Good stuff. All right, let's take a short break then, and then we'll get into our E3 discussion proper. So we'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back. So, for our main segment today, we wanted to have some E3 chat. So, we've got a big document that's got a list of things we want to talk about on here that's sort of in roughly chronological order of what happened in terms of the conferences and stuff. So, I think the easiest thing to do is just going to be to work our way down this and provide any thoughts we might have along the way. So, the first thing I've got written here is allow a bit of time for Stadia bashing because lol Stadia. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, I don't even really care because it's a piece of shit.
I've been pronouncing it Stadia, like Stadium.
Yeah,
like,
I think it probably is that.
Because they're kind of presenting it as this kind of communal, multiplayer, circle jerk.
That would be nice if we all had a great internet connection, which we don't, so...
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I just wanted to mention this because it kind of kicked off E3 with this, and so they demonstrated a bunch of stuff and announced a bunch of things about how this is going to work, and there were a fair few surprises for a lot of people. I think most significant for me was the fact that they're expecting you to buy games for it, which I'm kind of speechless. It's like. If they had done this as sort of the Netflix model, then I might have been semi on board with it. But as it stands, paying money to buy a copy of a game that you don't own either digitally or physically,
who thought this was a good idea?
Just, Google. But Google have a lot of ideas that they think are good ideas, and then they just quietly slip them out the back and shoot them every so often. So
that's what worries me the most about this, right? Like, for anyone who doesn't read Penny Arcade, I really strongly advise you to read Penny Arcade's Stadia comic from earlier in the week, because it hits the nose on the head. The nose on the head hits the nail on the head.
I was gonna say that's not the right words.
Yes, it hits the nail on the head. In the last panel specifically, they're like, and I just can't possibly imagine an instance where Google decides to silently just eliminate one of their services without warning. Like, you could really invest a lot of money in Stadia. And then one day Google is just going to be like, and because you don't own anything, when a console gets discontinued, even if you've purchased digital games, assuming your hard drive is healthy, you still have those games forever.
Yeah.
Theoretically. Something goes wrong with Stadia gets discontinued, F you. Any penny you've spent is lost completely.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't seem like a good deal for the consumer at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, like I say, I don't want to dwell too much on that because I just did want to acknowledge it because it kind of kicked off the whole of E3.
Sure.
So let's move on to some stuff that showed up in Microsoft conference. Now, I don't think people were expecting very much from Microsoft conference after their last couple of years showings, but there were actually some really interesting stuff came up in this one, I think. The first one of which I wanted to mention was Phantasy Star Online 2.
I've been waiting.
So excited!
How long have I been waiting? 7 years? 7 years for this? They announced this back in 2012. For those of you who don't remember, it's been 7 years since Sega has said anything about Phantasy Star Online 2.
Yeah, so this was initially announced for Xbox One and PC because I think Microsoft have played something of a role in making this happen. Excuse me. That's how excited I am. But yeah, Phil Spencer has since announced that it's not going to be exclusive to Xbox and Windows, so it is eventually going to end up on all platforms. I don't know if that's going to happen immediately.
I can wait. I can wait more. I've waited this long. I will wait.
Yeah.
Unless it's accounts and the accounts are cross-platform.
Yeah.
Because if the accounts are cross-platform, we're talking PC and Switch together, and my heart swells with joy.
Yeah, it's a very welcome announcement. My big concern with it though is that is it just too late? Like, are we even going to be getting the same content as the Japanese server 5 years on?
Oh, it's 100% too late. But I'll play it for a month. Cute robot girls with lightsabers. I am so all over this.
I respect a man who knows exactly what he wants.
If there's anything that is exactly what I want, it's Phantasy Star. I love PSO so much. It's crazy. When I got my wisdom teeth pulled at the end of college, before I started college, I played the GameCube version of Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 for like 400 hours straight in a week. Is there?
I believe it.
Yeah.
I was just half in a Novocaine haze. Just I'm coming for you, Dark Falls. Like it's the best. I love Phantasy.
I was going to say I bet that game is great on drugs.
There's a lot of neon going on. No, I love Phantasy Star. I can't wait. There's just something about the aesthetic, like the anime sci-fi aesthetic. And Diablo-style loot whoring mashed up with Japanese mechanic third-person camera action.
Yeah.
It's just the right recipe. I mean, do I love all this free-to-play bullshit? Do I love that there's probably not going to be any kind of physical edition at all? No. But if there's anything that's going to let me excuse every hiccup I've got with this kind of stuff, it's Phantasy Star. I love this franchise so much.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm fine with the free-to-play because I'm averse to pretty much anything with a subscription now because I think, for me personally, there's like that implication that you're making a commitment with the subscription.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So you subscribe to something like let's say you subscribe to Final Fantasy XIV. It means you're kind of committed to, okay, I'm going to be playing this game a lot this month, for the 30 days or so that I play, maybe in hopes of reaching the end of the game or the end game or what have you. Because, most MMOs start and end the same way. They have this end game where it's like, you either you participate in this raid with your guild, or you don't really have much to do, so you stop playing.
Yeah. That
was my
14's kind of interesting because they do have the ongoing story in that, and so sort of every 3 months in that you're getting the new story. But yeah, you're absolutely right. In between those new episodes of story and stuff, it is either raid or grind up your ultimate weapon or whatever. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's just my personal preference, and that's why I ended up quitting Final Fantasy XIV. But with a free-to-play model, I don't have any such commitments, so I can just pick it up and put it down whenever I please, and not have to worry about the money or the time spent in it or whatever. I think it's a much better deal for me.
Yeah. I think the thing though too that's important to remember about Phantasy Star is, a lot of people who aren't like the three of us who think a lot about game mechanics are going to throw the term MMO around a lot. Mm-hmm. But Phantasy Star at its core is not an MMO.
Yeah.
Phantasy Star is third-person Diablo. Mm-hmm. It is an instanced game.
Yeah.
So what does worry me about Phantasy Star being a online-only free-to-play prospect is, unlike Universe and PSO before it, when the servers die for this game, I won't be able to play it anymore. I can fire up Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 for the GameCube right now and play couch co-op with my friends. That's not going to be part of this equation. So the archivist and collector in me does bristle at this structure a little bit.
Yeah. I wonder what they're going to do with that, because it does have a single-player story. like there is a bunch of story and content that you can do by yourself, and there's NPCs that join you and all that sort of thing. So it's got the same structure as the original Phantasy Star Online. So I don't know if they've got a plan in place for when they do decide to shut the service down. But yeah, that content is certainly there. So there is some game to enjoy, even if it doesn't work anymore online. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. The one thing I did want to say about this is a lot of people have sort of raised the concern that Jay mentioned, which is, are we going to have parity with the Japanese version? Are we going to have all the content? And I just find myself thinking that certainly when it first comes out, it doesn't really matter all that much, because there's already a lot of stuff there to do. This is effectively going to be a new game for a lot of people. I know a lot of people have played on the Japanese servers or the Southeast Asian server for those glorious 2 days when it was open in the West.
Yeah, I tried. I could not get it to work at all. So I don't know what kind of witchcraft my friends did to make it work on their machines.
Probably proxy servers.
Horribly slow.
Yeah,
horribly slow, laggy.
I got it working, and I played it for a bit, and I was like, I want to play more of this, and then it stopped working, and I was like, no! But yeah, it'll be nice to finally be able to play this properly. Okay, right, moving on. Next thing I've got on the list is Minecraft Dungeons, which I think you expressed a bit of interest in the other day, Joe. Am I right, or did I make that up? No,
you're right. And I know this is going to come out like way out of left field for me, but I really like the way the game looks. It looks like a fun, charming Diablo-like for pretty much everybody.
Yes.
And so long as they don't have some crazy auction house model where you pay real money to get things, I think I would be on board with this. You know, it's kind of like a casual thing to play.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing I wanted to ask her that one was, is there something about that makes it more or less appealing than Diablo for you? Because, I mean, we've got Diablo on consoles now, and it doesn't have any of the auction house bullshit in it. So, is there something about the way it looks that makes it more appealing, do you reckon?
I think I just like looking at the whole Minecraft world, just the way it looks. Yeah. I used to watch a lot of Minecraft videos, like Let's Plays, before deciding to get into content creation myself. So I am pretty enamored by the world, and I'd like to really... I like to just give it a shot to see how it plays, really. It's just really curiosity over anything else.
Yeah. I have lots of friends who stuff like Diablo is a hard sell for, because of its aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because of its themes. So, like, I'm not going to say they're all girls, but yes, I know a lot of girls who are totally down for the style of game that Diablo is, would totally be addicted to the loot and the exploration and like the fun, almost arcadey action gameplay. But like they don't care about like Diablo's like stupid heavy metal grimdark aesthetic. I love Diablo's stupid heavy metal grimdark aesthetic, but it's a difficult sell. So like what's really appealing about Minecraft Dungeons is it could essentially be a gateway drug.
Yeah.
For me to like get younger, my friends' kids hooked on Diablo. You know, like I don't know. It's cool. More accessibility, a friendly face with a classic genre. I love stuff like this. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Moving on. The big surprise for me was the return of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, I don't know how you two feel about this, but
you're on your own on this one.
Yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator is something that I grew up with because my dad was obsessed with it. Like right from the Atari 8-bit version, before it was a Microsoft product, it was by a company called Sublogic. And the first article that my dad wrote for a magazine was about Flight Simulator 2 on the Atari 8-bit. And he was thoroughly enamored with it ever since. He insisted that it wasn't a game, mind you. If you called it a game, he'd get very upset. Because no, it's a flight simulator. It's called Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's not a game. It's not a game.
It's a program.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so he sort of played a lot of Flight Simulator over the years, and it was something that I played a bit growing up as well, as sort of a way of kind of bonding with my dad and understanding the things that he was into, because like my dad's a total propeller head, as well as enjoying playing the game. He is very interested in planes in general. So now he's retired. One of the things he's doing is he's volunteering at an aircraft museum. So he knows his stuff about aircraft and takes people on tours around the place and that sort of thing as well. So Flight Simulator was an important part of my growing up, and to see it returning after, I don't know when Flight Simulator X came out, but to see it returning on Xbox and PC, very, very interesting. And if the in-game graphics are anything like that trailer they showed, which they claim it will be, then this is going to be pretty gobsmacking.
That trailer was terrifying. It's just real life. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. So, but if you've not experienced Flight Simulator before, it is the most boring game on the planet because all you do is fly around. But sometimes that's nice because sometimes you just want to chill out. It's the same kind of appeal element that some stuff like Euro Truck Simulator has got.
It's just like pure relaxing escapism.
Yeah, exactly. So it would probably be a good game for like Let's Plays and streaming as well, because you could just go on a flight and you could just like chat with people while you're flying, for example. So that would probably be quite fun. But
what were those videos you sent me that one time of those guys who just have they run the control tower?
Oh god, yeah. There's a channel on YouTube. I can't remember his name offhand. It's something 95, but
it was the funniest shit I've seen in a long time.
there is a way you can play Flight Simulator X multiplayer, and one of the things you can do in multiplayer is not fly a plane, but you can man the control tower, and so you can sort of guide people in and give them landing clearance and that sort of thing. And this guy's put up a bunch of videos of people who come in and they're obviously just like trolling. So there's like sort of a jumbo jet comes flying straight for the control tower and that sort of thing, and he's just like talking to people who are obviously stoned, and it's pretty hilarious.
So I want more of that in stunning 4K.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. Next thing I've got on the list is Tales of Arise, which is the new Tales of game from from Bamco.
Oh my gosh, that game looks like such a visual upgrade over everything else I've seen from Tales. It's incredible.
Yes. Can't wait.
Yes, and we've had actually today at the time of recording, we've had a few more details revealed about some of the characters and the voice actors. So the two main characters in there, we've got this sort of badass knight-looking dude called Alphen, apparently.
Next.
And then we've got a pink-haired waifu called Shion, who's lovely.
Oh, there you go.
So she is apparently from the planet Rena, and she is cursed by thorns that cause intense pain to anyone she touches. So, bad luck. She joins forces with Alphen for a hidden purpose and battles in rebellion against her own people of Rena. So the whole concept, from what I can make out, is that these two main characters, they're sort of from opposite sides, and they're forced to work together. And so there's obviously going to be a lot of sort of tension in that regard there. So,
my God, they're totally not going to fall in love, though.
Absolutely not. But yeah, she's pretty cute. So awesome.
So some concerns and some things I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been lots of interviews and stuff talking about how this game is very much being approached as a reboot of Tales. Like, trying to create a new immersive experience and to create a game that's not bogged down by Tales stuff so that new people can get into Tales. Mm-hmm. And that's great, and I can't wait to see what comes of it. But part of me is also a little scared that these are gonna be the only characters. Because the combat looks radically different. And it almost looks like more of a third-person RPG. It doesn't look like the combat's going to get instanced and gated off. So I'm really worried that we're not going to get larger parties, and that doesn't necessarily worry me from a mechanical perspective. I'm really excited about this new stuff. But ever since Tales of Symphonia, what Tales has meant to me is a really large and endearing cast of characters and those adorable skits.
Yes.
So like if we don't get a big party with like lots of weirdos being endearing, like it's just not gonna feel like Tales to me.
Yeah.
That being said, this game looks great. I just don't know if it's gonna be a great Tales game. If that makes sense. I'm gesturing so wildly.
I think one of the essential ingredients in a good Tales game is a is a great cast of characters with skits, and they're all a bunch of misfits. They all kind of bring out each other's personalities. So I think that's really, really important to have. So I don't really know what that's going to look like. Tales as a series has been kind of like hit or miss lately. I wasn't too keen on Stadia, but
I don't think anybody was.
I think, yeah, it's just the story didn't work for me at all. It just kind of lost me halfway through. It seemed like there were things that like they forgot about or they just didn't care about, and they just kind of threw their hands up and it's like, well, we've got to finish the game somehow.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Stadia was the first Tales game on the new hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of growing pains they were experiencing, and I think that's really kind of a classic evolution when new hardware comes about, right? So like Berseria was very well thought of. Mm-hmm. Very well regarded, and I think that's kind of the classic evolution we see with a lot of franchises. Is the first game on new hardware is really them getting their bearings, learning to program for the new hardware, trying to get a feel for what this new technology can bring to the series. Then when you get a second one, they kind of just knock it out of the park because they've already ironed all those kinks out, and now they can focus on the game, the narrative, the structure, knowing what they can do fully. So I appreciate Stadia for what it is. It's just not as solid a game as it could be. But that being said, Berseria is cool as hell.
Mm-hmm. Velvet.
Yeah, well, the end. Why are Tales waifus so premium?
They know what they're doing.
Because they're written that way, and designed that way. So,
like, even going back to the Tales of Destiny, freaking Rudy was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Farah in Tales of Eternia.
Yeah.
Are you Googling? Are you Googling Farah?
I might be.
Like, instantly?
Oh, God. I had a persistent troll for a little while who got very angry every time I said nice things about Mila Maxwell. But
how could you not love Mila?
I don't know. I don't understand it really, but yeah. Anyway.
She's such a strong, like, powerful, like, no nonsense, but like heart of gold. Like, she's such a well-developed character from like any narrative perspective.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just me speaking as an otaku, this is me speaking as a man with a master's degree who analyzes narratives of, like, literature and, like, film. Like, Mila is an amazing, nuanced character.
Yeah.
She's so lovable.
Yes. All right. Let's continue on. So, next thing I've got on the list then is Elden Ring, which is From Software's next game, and is apparently a collaboration between Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin. I haven't actually looked up a lot of information about this yet. Have you guys looked much of this up yet?
There really isn't anything besides the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a lot to go on besides speculation. People are saying, "Oh, this is just going to be Game of Thrones Souls." Well, we don't really know that. I mean, it's an original IP. It could be. I mean, certainly it's going to be some kind of dark fantasy thing. Maybe there will be politics involved. Maybe there won't be. It's really too early to say much of anything at this point.
Yeah,
it looks cool though. The trailer's neat. The designs are freaky. There's a very distinct, almost tribal aesthetic going on with a lot of the armors and stuff. There's kind of a biological look with a lot of, like, curvature, which is not Souls, right? Souls has a very specific, classic medieval aesthetic. Mm-hmm. So it looks like this Elden Ring thing might be going for something a little weirder, which would be very welcome to me. There's the character that they kind of show in all the still screenshots, then all the articles, kind of has that, like, beaked helmet with that kind of alien curvature to it. And in the cinematic, when they reel out from their head a bit, you can see that they don't have a right arm, and then they attach an arm.
Oh, cool.
Like a mechanical arm to their body. So, like, you know, we could sit here and theorize all day if that might have mechanical implications for the game, but there's some really interesting just thematic visual elements going on in that trailer that has me excited for kind of a world that's a little more bizarre. Because I love Souls, but cool, I've played in like dark medieval European inspired Gothic enough now. Like, let's see some other cool shit. Because From can make weird shit. Like, the Otogi games, very specifically, are these beautiful explorations of classic Japanese folklore, but with this very strange, organic, haunted aesthetic that I've really been hoping they would return to in the near future. And some of the armor designs in the Elden Ring trailer are very reminiscent of Otogi.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, one to keep an eye on then, definitely. Yeah, so not a lot that we know about that. It is going to be an action RPG from the sound of things, but that is all we know at the minute, I think, aside from the trailer.
We hope that it turns out well.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got a pretty good track record at the minute, so yeah, I'd be surprised if it's not a good time.
Whether or not you know it, now that Souls is popular or whatever, like, From Software has actually been making very good games for a very long time, not just in the past decade. Heads up.
Yes, and also let's not forget that they also made The Adventures of Cookies and Cream on PlayStation 2.
Yes, they did,
which is about as far from Dark Souls as you can get. I love that. I love it. It's brilliant. Anyway, moving on. Last thing I wanted to mention from the Microsoft conference is just to acknowledge that Xbox Project Scarlett is coming holiday 2020, whatever this means. So they are claiming that this will have backwards compatibility with all of the previous Xbox consoles. But my issue with that is that their backwards compatibility isn't really backwards compatibility. It's just
simulation.
It's just you can download a copy of this game that works on your new console. It's not a case of put the disc in and it works. So,
so that's a technicality.
Yeah. So aside from that, I don't really know what to think about this because, I mean, Xbox One is still sort of a bit of a whipping boy for a lot of people in terms of its selection of games and exclusives and so on. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who do like it. There's a lot of people who do like stuff like the Forza games and Halo and all that sort of thing. So I mean, there is a market there, but
it caters to its demographic. Fine. There's nothing wrong with the Xbox One. It's just not for you and me.
Yeah.
I went into this conference thinking, okay, I'm not going to bash Microsoft. I'm not going to make fun of them. The past several years, they've had the same problem that they've always have, which is they have games. Most of them are games you can get in other places. So they can sell the games, but they can't sell the platform. They're not doing a very good job at selling the platform. However, that doesn't mean it's a bad platform. It has some really good things going for it. Just not so much the kind of games that we're into, like you said.
I like Halo. I like Gears. They're just not console sellers for me. Mm-hmm. That's really what it wraps up to. I like Gears of War a lot, actually. I'm very excited that People Can Fly are making a new game because Gears Judgment was a really cool game. Mm-hmm. They're just not console sellers for me at the end of the day.
Yeah, I've seen a fair few people being quite positive about the Game Pass stuff as well, and I mean it's not something I'm hugely interested in because I don't really want a subscription service for my games, but some people have sort of pointed out that this is going to be a good way to sort of try stuff out that you might not otherwise think of, and then if you like it, you could then go and buy a more permanent copy of that if you wanted to. There's also talk of sort of doing that multi-platform. I know there's been several discussions of it potentially happening on Switch as well as on PC and Xbox like it is at the minute. So, I mean, there's some potentially interesting stuff going on there. I think the most important thing to sort of take from Microsoft at the minute is that I think they've learned a lot from this last console generation, and I think they're quite willing to try new things to try and make things work a bit better for whatever comes next.
I agree. I feel like now they've kind of shifted into more of a much more of a cooperative relationship than a competitive one, especially with Nintendo and I guess to some extent with Sony, but we don't really know what that looks like yet. As far as this next console goes, from a technical standpoint, it sounds pretty impressive. Like, can they deliver on it? I don't know if that matters so much as having the games matters. The only reason people invest in this generation is because of exclusives. And now that we're kind of on the tail end of it, games that were formerly exclusive, like, let's say on Sony's console, like Yakuza, well, now you can play it on Steam. So for this next generation, exclusivity is going to be a much harder sell. It doesn't matter how good your specs are. And Nintendo, I would say, is doing pretty well with the Switch. So it's not as if having the strongest hardware is what makes you come out ahead. Yeah. It's really the content and the experience that's going to win at the end of the day.
I don't have a lot of respect for people who are tech heads in the game community. It's software that rules the day for me always. So I'm platform agnostic. I go where the games are. I've got a 360 because it's full of games I want to play.
Yeah.
But I don't have an Xbox One because it's not. It's that simple.
Yeah, same here. All right, moving on. Well, before we move on, was there anything else from Microsoft that either of you wanted to bring up?
No, I mean, I didn't even watch it. So
no,
there was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So
that looks great.
So now we're gonna get a action RPG adaptation of the DBZ series, whereas previously we only got that through like fighting games like Budokai or Xenoverse, which was not too great. But now it seems like it's gonna be like a more fleshed out, in-depth story experience. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's gonna turn out.
And this is CyberConnect 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
They make wonderful games.
So that's the second. That is the second time that Microsoft has revealed a DBZ game to us. First time being Fighter Z. It's been interesting because like it feels like they've kind of shouldered the burden of presenting a lot of these things where Sony's just absent and they didn't have anything ready this time. So
we will never know why Sony wasn't at E3 this year. There's some shit brewing.
Yeah. My best guess is that they just don't have anything ready. Like, they don't have new hardware ready. We're getting ready for a new console cycle, so I think it has to do with having new hardware ready. Their big titles for the last E3, which I don't really think they had a very good E3 last time.
No, it was terrible last year. It was a lot of filler. There wasn't really a lot of content at all.
I think it was pretty bad. But I think those titles that they showed are still well into development. They're probably busy with them, so they probably just didn't have anything ready this time. That's what I think. So,
I say good on them for not making a mess of it then. If they knew they couldn't make a good showing, they did the right thing.
Yeah. So I think even though their whole like state of play thing hasn't worked out well so far, in the end it's going to be better for them because it allows them to be more flexible. So it's like, okay, we're ready to show things now on this date. We're going to show you today, rather than being stuck, with an E3 deadline that they can't make. They can do like a direct format where they can show multiple times a year to keep that kind of hype going. So I think
direct release is the best. Nintendo's got it all figured out.
Yeah.
I recently I use the Shut Up app on Firefox. Have you ever used the Shut Up app?
Yeah, I use it on Chrome. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I've never heard of
it. It turns off the comment sections on websites. So I had recently had an issue with Firefox where I had to reinstall it with all my apps gone, and I forgot to re-download Shut Up. So I forget what site I was on, but I think it was YouTube actually, and I was watching a video, and it was someone complaining about limited run games, I think calling them just like greedy bastards or something, and it was like, and it was some like, this kid's probably like 14, right? And the comment was like, E3 is a place for creative people to show their creativity, not a place for greedy money grubbers. And it's like, actually, no, you're an idiot. E3 is an industry event that was created for electronics vendors to secure investors by showing the slate of their newest titles. It is not a place for creative people to show their masterworks. It's about money. E3 is about money and investment. So like, when people aren't afraid to make wise business decisions at E3 like Sony did, like I like tip my hat to them, because like if you've got nothing to show, don't go.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's move on a bit then. So I've only got one thing written down from Bethesda's conference,
as you should.
Yeah, which is GhostWire Tokyo, which again we don't know a huge amount about yet, I don't think. But the probably the most noteworthy thing about it is the fact that it's developed by Shinji Mikami's apprentice, named Ikumi Nakamura, who the whole internet promptly fell in love with after her appearance on stage.
She was adorable.
Yeah, there we go. Apparently you're not allowed to say that Asian women are adorable, but she's adorable.
I say women of any... this is not a race thing. People are adorable.
She was adorable though, because she was so happy about her game, and that's exactly how you should be. But yeah, this Ikumi Nakamura, she was a background designer on Okami. She was a concept artist for Bayonetta, and she had quite a prominent role on The Evil Within as well. She designed quite a lot of the monsters in that.
Yeah, so she's wonderful, in other words.
Yeah, so she's got some serious creative chops on her. This is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on, I think. So all we know about it so far is that it's an action-adventure game. It's based around strange disappearances in Tokyo and a strange new evil that is infecting the city. You have mysterious spectral abilities, and there's sort of occult elements, conspiracy theories, and urban legends. So, yeah, very intriguing prospect, certainly. And if they sort of have a kind of convincing virtual Tokyo to explore in there, that's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So, but as I say, this is one that we don't know a huge amount about yet. So,
we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Definitely. All right, moving on, a few miscellaneous things that sort of cropped up in between the main conferences. So first one I've got is Cris Tales, which was something that kind of sprung up out of nowhere, but it's described as a love letter to classic JRPGs, and it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, and there's a demo available now. I wasn't immediately sold on this due to the art style, but then I saw it moving, and I got an immediate erection. So
this is a looker. This one's a looker.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing that kind of did it for me was that it has the look of a sort of 2D game, and then partway through the trailer they showed that no, it's actually three-dimensional, and it looks like that, and it's got this glorious animation to it. It's got a very distinctive atmosphere of its own, so it's not trying to be like something else. It's not trying to capture the feeling of something else. It describes itself as a love letter to classic JRPGs, but it's not trying to be one of those old JRPGs. It's very much got its own identity from the look of things.
So the big thing about this one is that there's a time manipulation is central to the game. So in certain points, which they show in the videos that have been released, past, present, and future all exist on the screen at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually running. There's scenes where the woman is running from left to right, and it's like split screen into 3 sections. The left-hand side is the past, the middle side is the future, and the middle is present, and the right-hand side is future. So if she's running left to right, you'll see coming up, you're about to approach an old woman. By the time you reach her, because your default in the center of the screen, she's a young woman of like 30, and then when she's behind you in the left section of the screen, she's a child.
Right.
So like you're seeing the world and these impacts on the world and the way the world changes in real time on the screen as you explore. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Have either of you tried the demo yet for this?
I have not. Have you?
No, not yet. I was just hoping that one of us might have something to say about what the demo had to offer, but no, I haven't checked that out yet, but I'm definitely going to, for sure. All right, continuing on, just a quickie, not a lot to say about this, but Puzzle & Dragons is coming to Switch, which is good, because Puzzle & Dragons is great, and any opportunity to play Puzzle & Dragons that doesn't involve having to play it as a gacha game is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3DS version was good. This is a new version rather than a port of the 3DS version, I think, from the look of things.
Yeah, I think it's a new game.
Yeah, so that's cool. Should we talk a little bit about Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Yeah, because the only Project Scarlett I'm interested in, how's that for a transition, is freaking Scarlett in 4K.
She's such an unlikable character, though.
You don't know my taste in women, Joe.
I guess not.
If you are watching an anime or playing a JRPG and there is a nasty bitch, this is my favorite character.
Mm-hmm. All right, fair enough.
She's gonna have her hair up tight. She's gonna be in a pencil skirt, and she is gonna be mean as shit. And I'm gonna love her.
Yeah. The main things to say about this, aside from Cris loves Scarlett and wants her to step on him, probably, is that they've sort of confirmed a few details about how the whole remake project as a whole is going to work. So the first game that we're getting is going to take us up to the end of the Midgar sequence. So the first sort of 5 to 10 hours or so of the original game. But the intention is to kind of expand it and take a much closer look at the characters that are involved in it. So there was Yoshinori Kitase. He did quite a long blog post about the intentions behind all this. So I'm just going to pick out a few sort of key things that he said here. So he said that for the original core members of the development team, simply recreating the original game with improved graphics wasn't enough to get us invested and excited about remaking 7. To return, we wanted to go beyond the original, telling a deeper story and providing a modern gaming experience. We want to go above and beyond what is expected of a remake. So I mean, we already knew this, but it's not just like a shot-for-shot remake with better graphics and so on. We've got different mechanics. We've got the sort of full 3D exploration. But the sort of the key thing he wanted to highlight here is that the depth and the interesting cultures and the different characters who populate Midgar. So, so this first episode is going to provide a lot more depth to what was just maybe incidental NPCs in the original game. So they're emphasizing the sort of character storytelling using motion capture, facial capture, voice acting, and performance. There's going to be some interesting stuff there. He's also highlighted the fact that the gameplay isn't going to be just a straight sort of port of Final Fantasy XV's battle system. So he describes it as a classic a new take on classic concepts with an accessible evolution of the active time battle system, giving you greater action with tactical control. So how that's going to manifest itself is you will have access to control the strategic decisions of the other party members besides the one you're directly controlling, or you can leave them to AI if you prefer. You can switch between characters. It's looking pretty cool. I know some people are going to bounce off it because it's not just Final Fantasy VII again, but yeah, I'm a fan so far.
It looks so good.
I think that's fine. I would consider, and I'm someone who loves Final Fantasy VII. I would definitely consider it certainly one of the easier entries in the Final Fantasy series. I mean, they're not all that difficult, but there wasn't a lot of thought.
Complex.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You don't have to put a lot of thought into battles. You can basically get by on like 2 materia, maybe ice or bolt. Certainly bolt. There's a lot of enemies weak to bolt, from what I remember. So the addition of a more dynamic combat system that focuses on strategy is a really, really welcome change for me. So it seems like they're just like going all out with this. Like there's no sense of limitations or anything. We're gonna get the full entire Final Fantasy VII experience. I guess that includes things that were cut out or needed to be fleshed out more. And I know it was like difficult to understand, partially because it was a really notoriously bad translation. I mean, this guy are sick. And everything, but it was like one of those games I had to play like twice or 3 times to like really get what was going on. I was like, oh, okay. There's that hidden Shinra mansion scene which really fleshes out why Cloud is the way he is, and they touch on that a lot more in Crisis Core, but I'm looking forward to a Final Fantasy VII that makes more sense. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah. And I'm just looking forward to watching the life fade from Aerith's eyes in stunning 4K.
Stop! You're terrible.
Without dwelling on that too much, should we talk a little bit about Tifa?
We can talk all you want about Tifa, brother.
Tifa was always in my party. She never left my side. Mm-hmm. No, what do you want me to say about her?
Well,
playable.
Yes.
Kung Fu Queen. I'm so excited. She looks so fun to play as.
Mm-hmm. Can we also make a point of highlighting that adding thigh highs to her is one of the best decisions anyone has ever made about anything?
They made so many good decisions. When the minute she stepped on screen, I was like, they didn't screw her up. I was like screaming.
No, everyone looks great. Even Cloud. Cloud looks a lot better than he did last time. He looks more human. Like his eyes aren't like bugging out like last time. Like, you know. It's sort of like Uncanny Valley almost. It's like it's almost scary to think about how human these characters are getting now.
Yeah. It's just I can't wait to see everybody. Mm-hmm. The revelation that everybody is gonna be playable.
Yeah.
Like Red 13, Vincent, Yuffie, like what? Like like I can't wait.
Yeah. The thing I find hilarious about this is that the game for this looks better than you remember the Final Fantasy movie. I mean, most people
Advent Children. They've come a long way since
the one before that.
Oh, the one that ruined what's his name's career.
Spirits Within. When that came out, it sort of there was a lot of emphasis on look how realistic these characters are. They're amazing, and like this game looks better than that movie.
Absolutely, no question about that.
Yeah, CG does not age well. It's one of the reasons I always prefer 2D games, because 3D doesn't age well. Just imagine, in another 15 years, if we're not dead, we're going to think this game looks like shit. We're going to be like, man, FF7 Remake really didn't age well. You can't see the pores on Tifa's forehead. This is ridiculous.
Well, I will always like that kind of, like, Lego... I mean, they look like Legos in the original, but there's something really charming about that. You know?
I love it. I love it.
And, as much as I would have liked them to stick with that whole anime aesthetic, I'm not disappointed because this is Square doing what they do best, which is making us really, really impressed with the visuals. Like, it's eye candy. It's amazing to look at.
Yeah.
This may be Final Fantasy 16. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, if we never got Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 17, like, we could just be locked into this for a while.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. They've clearly spent a ungodly amount of money and who knows how much time on this. So I think this is... I wouldn't say it's a break game for them, but certainly they absolutely want this to do well. And all signs are pointing to it doing well because I hear the pre-orders for this, both this and... Cyberpunk 2077 are pretty high.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. If we never got a Final Fantasy 16 and we just got this, would anyone really be that disappointed? Because the mainstream press, their fundamental criticism of every Final Fantasy that's come out since 7 has just been, it's not 7, so I don't like it. Mm-hmm. So really, this is just giving the public what they want.
You want 7, you can have 15 games of 7. Yeah.
I don't know. If you ask anybody what their Final Fantasy 7, I mean, what their favorite Final Fantasy game is, you're going to get a different answer with every person.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one of the things I love.
Yeah. That's a debate as old as time, really.
Mm-hmm. Amongst people who are hardcore. But like if you walk up to like a more casual gamer or someone in the games press who isn't an RPG head and ask them, "What's your favorite RPG?" Not even what's your favorite Final Fantasy. Like that part of the biggest issue with people who aren't RPG mechanics aficionados critiquing RPGs is they just fundamentally compare everything to FF7 because that's their comfort zone.
Right, because Final Fantasy is, for better or worse, a gateway series.
Yeah.
It either gets you into other JRPGs or it doesn't.
Yes.
Because they're not Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Right. What's the submarine minigame going to be like in 4K? I love that submarine minigame.
Yeah.
I want it all. I want every little bit.
Well, it sounds like you're going to get that over the course of God knows how many games at this point.
We're going to be 100 when this is over. You know that. Because they straight up said this week that they expect the other episodes to take as long as this one did.
Yeah, although the other thing that that he said in his statement is that they've learned a lot from this first game, and that they reckon that the second game onwards is going to be a bit more efficient to develop. So that either means that it's going to come out more quickly, or they're going to be able to put more stuff in it.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, but I mean, this is going to cross console generations.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At the rate Squaresoft makes games, Episode 2 is going to be on the PS5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine even if it is, because, you know, they'll still have the version for the PS4. That's kind of how these generational console releases work, because not everyone is going to be ready to buy a PS5 when it comes out. They're going to want to hang on to their PS4s for whatever reason. So I think it'll be all right either way.
Oh yeah, I'm not complaining, but I do have friends who are.
Yeah.
I do have friends who are, you know, the only RPG they buy is Final Fantasy. They don't buy consoles often. They don't adopt hardware immediately. So like I do have friends who are legitimately concerned that the wait in between each episode is going to be too long, that it's going to cross console generations and essentially force them to buy hardware they're not interested in buying. Like these are, I'm not saying these are valid concerns. They're certainly not my concerns, but these are things I'm hearing amongst people who are less hardcore than I.
I was going to say, if you want more RPGs, I've got literally 1,000 articles on my website that gives you some good suggestions on some things you might want to try.
Yeah, well, it's like if you're friends with me, you should never be short on RPGs, because not only will I recommend them to you, I will invite you over to my home, ask you about your likes and dislikes, custom tailor a recommendation to you, and then let you borrow my copy. but that's a fight for a different day.
Yeah. Final Fantasy is in quite a good place at the minute, because the new expansion for 14 is coming out soon, and it sounds like that's going to do some really interesting narrative stuff.
What's his name said they're treating this more of a sequel than an expansion.
They do that every time. They did that with Heaven's Ward and Stormblood as well. But the interesting thing about this one is that there's like a strong emphasis on going to different worlds and different dimensions. So sort of at various points in 14's storyline, there's been the idea of the Warriors of Darkness, who are your counterparts from another world, and talking about this world called the First and different things. And so what a lot of people are expecting to happen is something that they've been thinking about for a very long time with 14, which is 14 acting as kind of a sort of a sort of nexus between all the other Final Fantasy worlds. And it looks like that's something that's probably going to happen, starting with Shadowbringers. So, very interested to see where that's going. I'm not actively playing it at the minute, but at some point I will be jumping back on that, because I'm going to be doing the a Final Fantasy marathon series on YouTube, starting when I get back from holiday at the start of July. So, 14 will be involved in that at some point. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, as tempting as it is to talk about Final Fantasy for the rest of eternity, let's move on. The next thing I've got on our list here is the surprise announcement by Konami that they're doing a PC Engine Mini.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. I didn't even know they had the rights to that.
Yeah, no, this came out of nowhere.
Do you guys need the history lesson of why this is Konami?
I'm actually interested, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the PC Engine / Turbografx / Core Graphics / whatever you're going to call it, what the hardware was manufactured by NEC, which is a hardware manufacturer, a computer manufacturer. But in terms of system architecture, the PC Engine was Hudson's system.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why all the games for the PC Engine are on Hue cards. HUCE, the HU is for Hudson.
Yeah.
So Konami bought all of Hudson.
Oh, right. Okay.
I remember that.
Konami owns all of Hudson. So by and large, they also own the PC Engine.
Yeah,
right,
because it's technically Hudson's hardware.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Holler at your boy. I love me some. I love me some PC Engine.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm excited about this because PC Engine is not a system I know a huge amount about. So this is going to be a great way to kind of get started with getting to know some of these games. I mean, I know I can just download a bunch of ROMs, and indeed I have downloaded a bunch of ROMs. Shh, don't tell anyone. Yeah, this is a good way to have a sort of curated selection of kind of the best of PC Engine, and they haven't announced all the games yet, but there's certainly the stuff that they have announced already is looking pretty good. So we've got R-Type on there. I know the PC Engine version of R-Type is very well regarded. We've got Ys Book 1 and 2. Again, the PC Engine version of those is very well regarded. It's going to be interesting to go back to those after playing the Chronicles version, which I liked very much indeed. So sort of taking a generational step back and see how that's handled will be interesting. We've got New Adventure Island, which is a cool series that I don't know a lot about at the minute. We've got Dungeon Explorer, which is a game that I have played a fair bit and I quite like. And then Alien Crush, which is that the pinball game?
Oh yeah, is it a pinball game?
Yeah.
It's a very, very good pinball game.
Mm-hmm.
The Naxat's Crush pinball series is far and away the best pinball games pretty much ever made. Devil's Crush and Alien Crush, and then there's one on the Super Nintendo as well, Jackie Crush. They're the best. Pretty much any Japanese developed pinball software you play is heavily inspired by these games.
Yeah. So these games kind of sort of established the idea of video pinball, didn't they? Which was sort of a pinball game that was doing stuff that an actual pinball table wouldn't be able to do. So it's having stuff like enemies in there and sort of multiple play fields and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's cool. There's going to be a different selection of games on each of the 3 different versions. So there's a Japanese version which is based on the PC Engine. There's a US version which is based on the Turbografx 16, and then there's the European version which is based on the core graphics. Again, I don't know the system super well, so I'm not entirely sure what happened when I was convinced that we didn't get the PC Engine over here at all, and I'm not entirely sure if we did or not, or if it was particularly widespread. But there seems to be the core graphics and the Turbografx 16 model seem to have the same games at the moment that's been announced, and Japan has a few different ones. So Japan, I think the noteworthy thing that Japan has had confirmed that we haven't yet is Rondo of Blood.
Which is huge.
Yeah. So I don't know if we'll get that over here. I would have thought they would have announced that already if we were going to get that here, but they could be keeping that as a surprise. You never know. So at the minute, the Japanese one has Superstar Soldier.
Oh god, it's instantly best of.
Yeah. Ys 1 and 2 again. Dungeon Explorer again. Is that a Bonk game? That looks like Bonk.
Is it PC Dungeon? That's in Japan. Bonk is PC Dungeon.
Yeah, and then something with a Bruce Lee looking dude on the front. I can't read those kanji. my Japanese reading skill is limited to the kana at the minute, so it's just called the something. And then there's a Bruce Lee looking dude at the minute, and it's Volume 1, if that helps.
There's a bunch of like vigilante style games on the Turbo. They're just kind of like side scrolling beat 'em up kung fu mans.
It's the kung fu. So I think that's China Warrior.
China Warrior. That makes sense. That game is not particularly good, but it is noteworthy for having massive sprites.
Yes.
So what's really interesting about this is they're not making a clear division between PC Engine and PC Engine CD games.
Yeah.
So that Ys Book 1 and 2 is a CD game, as is Rondo of Blood.
Yeah.
So they're also including CD games, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Which means for the American version, we might get some really cool RPGs, because there's some really interesting stuff on the Turbo CD, specifically RPG-wise. Mm-hmm. Specifically, a lot of cool stuff that was localized by Working Designs back in the day.
Yes.
I'm thinking, of course, of the Cosmic Fantasy series. Mm-hmm. I would love if we got a Valis game. on this thing. The Valis series is really, really cool. They're side scrollers, they're not RPGs, but really cool anime aesthetic. Classic 90s waifus with neon pink hair and bikini armor.
Yeah. Is Valis the series where like the last installment was actually an Ergo?
Yes.
Yeah, it turned into... So. Yeah. It just kind of devolved into that.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah. It's like, you've stuck with this for this long. Here, have some porn. Nice. All right. Okay, so PC Engine coming... Is there a date on this? I don't think there is. Is there? Just coming soon. So yeah, looking forward to that. All right, next thing I've got on our list is some stuff from Limited Runs conference. So they announced a bunch of stuff that's looking cool. So first of all, I think we can just have a brief bit of squeeing over the fact that both Freedom Planet and Blaster Master Zero are getting physical releases.
Yeah, it's a dream. It's a dream come true. I believe my initial reaction to Freedom Planet was for me to text you in all caps, "I'm going to marry Carol," and then backtrack, and then wow, and then backtrack it to, I'm going to buy this game. I fucking love Freedom Planet.
Yeah, it is a great Sonic game.
It's the best Sonic game that was on the Saturn.
Yes.
That's how I always describe Freedom Planet to people. It's the 32-bit Sonic game that you never got.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been holding out for a physical release of this for ages. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pick this up. I do have the PC version, but I haven't bought any of the console version just because I was hoping that this would happen, and it finally has. So, and that's
this coming Friday.
Yes. So 21st, I think, isn't it? Yeah,
yes,
21st of June.
And it's going to be a 2-week open pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably going to be some kind of chaotic, beautiful, limited edition that will be timed.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know if I'll be able to resist it. I've resisted all of Limited Run's massive collector's editions up to this point, but I really, truly believe that Freedom Planet's soundtrack is the best video game soundtrack in the past 10 years.
Yeah. It is phenomenal.
And if there is a printed physical copy of the complete soundtrack along with a collector's edition, I might have to buy it.
Yeah. Okay, so those are coming up. Other stuff that jumped out at me, there is Hover Revolt of Gamers, which has a dumbass name but looks really cool. I was vaguely aware of this game beforehand, but I hadn't really seen what it was all about, and it looks like a really cool kind of Jet Set Radio Future tribute.
I have it on Steam, but I've never played it. Because that's the thing that happens.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know a huge amount about this, but it looks like a sort of open world kind of skating game. So there's sort of Tony Hawk style trick systems and stuff in there, but it also looks like there's missions and stuff to do as well. So that's kind of why it reminds me of Jet Set Radio Future in particular, because that kind of combined the extreme sports aspect with a structure a bit more like a 3D platformer. So yeah, this could potentially be very interesting, and they're doing a physical pressing of that.
There's also multiplayer, which is cool.
Oh, yes.
Like, if you ever wanted Jet Set Radio multiplayer, there's like a competitive sports game in it as part of the game that you can play.
Yes, and it sounds like it's sort of drop in, drop out as well, so you can kind of basically open your game up to other players, and they can drop in and help you out with missions and stuff, so that's quite a cool implementation of that, if you're into that sort of thing. Blazing Chrome looked lovely. This was a sort of Contra style game from the guys who did Oniken and Odalis, which were two sort of how would you describe them? They're sort of those ones
just like
sort of,
NES tributes. Like, they're modern side scrollers that were made very specifically to emulate the look and feel of 8-bit NES games. Oniken very closely hewing toward Ninja Gaiden. Mm-hmm. Odalis, more of a combination of Castlevania with a bit of Euro larger level exploratory games.
Yes. I was going to say Blazing Chrome as well seems to have a bit of Euro in there as well, because there was certain stuff with sort of the shooting mechanics that look very Turrican-esque.
Yeah.
With the sort of the multi-directional shooting and stuff. So yeah, this looks cool though. Moving on, we had a couple of Sega CD classics in inverted commas. So we have anniversary editions of both Corpse Killer and what's the other one called? I forgot.
Double Switch.
Double Switch. Yeah, so there are versions of those coming to PS4 and Switch as well. Like I wrote in our notes here, I think it's good that they're making these games more accessible because I mean they're part of gaming history. But do people really want these?
Corpse Killer is a blight on the earth, and if I could round up every copy of Corpse Killer and just put it in a barrel and put some kind of corrosive substance on it and just turn it into a sludge, I would. This game is the worst of the worst. That being said, might be fun to play it now with substances in my body that I couldn't acquire when I was young enough when I first played Corpse Killer.
True. Yeah.
Basically, if you just want a Jamaican dude to scream, "I got your primo juju stick, man," in your ear every 30 seconds, Corpse Killer's the game for you.
Yeah. So those are happening. And then the last thing they announced was, I think, the biggest surprise, which is that they have an agreement with LucasArts to revive all the old Star Wars games, the good ones. So specific stuff that they showed was stuff like Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, X-Wing, TIE Fighter. And I think the first one they're doing is Bounty Hunter.
Yes.
And then other stuff is gonna follow at some point. So
did they show Republic Commando?
I can't remember.
That's a really cool game.
That is an excellent game. That is an excellent game. Definitely. I mean, I'm not a big Star Wars fan or anything, but that is one of the games that I have played, and it was really, really good. I'm intrigued to see how stuff like X-Wing and TIE Fighter are going to work on consoles, because those are like proper flight sims in space.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I have a GOG copy of TIE Fighter, and I somehow got it to work with a not a 360, an Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
But I think I had to do some kind of crazy thing, like I think I might have had to use like X-Patter to make it work. And even then, you can't do everything in X-Patter because there's too many controls.
That's what I mean. That's my main thing with it. It's like there are so many controls in those games. How are you going to map all those to a controller? And I'm just having horrible flashbacks to the PlayStation 1 version of Wing Commander 3, which required you to press all 4 shoulder buttons simultaneously just to engage the autopilot. So yeah, hopefully they'll figure something out with that. But either way, it's good to see these games getting a revival, because those old Star Wars games, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, they are great. So let's check those out. Right. So, we've talked for about an hour. Do you guys want to take a quick break before we move on to Nintendo? Because there's a lot of stuff to talk about there.
Yeah, that's good with me.
Okay, all right. So we'll take a short break now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a bit more about some of the other stuff that has caught our eye, beginning with Nintendo's conference. So, we'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back. So we've already spent an hour talking about cool E3 stuff, and it's time to move on to Nintendo's announcements, of which there were lots of very exciting and nice things, and I was very happy with all of them. So first up, let's talk a bit about the new Smash characters, which are the Dragon Quest hero, or more specifically 4 of the Dragon Quest heroes, and Banjo-Kazooie. So, thoughts?
That Banjo reveal trailer was an instance of trolling of the highest degree. And
was fantastic.
And I applaud Nintendo for their efforts and their sense of humor, and for just making E3 in general a delight. Because E3 is such a garbage pile mess of BS corporate speak and numbers and false enthusiasm, and Nintendo always manages to make me feel okay on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Like with their wholesome celebration of games and their sense of humor. So it was just quintessentially like Nintendo E3, that trail, the humor in that Banjo reveal trailer.
Yeah. I mean,
I gotta say, Banjo and Kazooie look really, really good. Certainly better than they did during the Microsoft era, where it was just like nuts and bolts, and they kind of became like more squarish. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So they're being very, very true to their original forms, I think. So that's going to be cool. I have seen some horrifying fan art of what might happen when Kirby eats them.
Oh God, yeah, I've seen that too.
You'll have to send that to me. I haven't seen this yet. Does Kirby just sprout a second head?
Well, it was someone questioning what happens. Like if Kirby eats both of them, does he get his own Kazooie, or does he just have this hideous growth coming out of his back? So that is a question we'll have to wait to find the answer out for, I guess. So, but one to ponder. Yeah. Dragon Quest Hero was interesting because I know some people were expecting this, but the implementation of them looks like it's going to be quite cool. Because I know one concern over Dragon Quest Hero being included would be it being yet another Sword Boy, which we've talked about before on here. But it looks like it's going to be quite intriguing because you've got these 4 different characters. They've got different spells and abilities that are more than just using the sword. So there's a lot of iconic Dragon Quest magic going on in there as well. So,
and there's an actual menu, like an RPG menu pops up over his life bar where you make your selections for what you use.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's cool that they didn't just pick one Dragon Quest hero as well. The fact that they have included, I think it's one from Dragon Quest 3, one from Dragon Quest 4, one from Dragon Quest 5, and one from Dragon Quest 8, isn't it? I think. No, there's 11 in there.
8,
as well.
8 and 11.
8 and 11.
8 and 11. Yeah.
3, 8, 11, and 5. I want to say.
No, I think it's 4 because it's the green-haired dude from. 4,
it's 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Isn't that guy from 3?
No, 3 is the spiky-haired dude. I mean, it's Akira Toriyama, isn't it? So, the spiky-haired dude.
Yeah,
he has black spiky hair. He has black spiky hair. So it's cool that they have those several options there. It doesn't look as if there's going to be the female counterparts in there where applicable. Which is a shame because Dragon Quest IV's female heroine is super cute with her massive poofy hair. But that doesn't look like they were there. But I mean, they may well be in there as alternate costumes or something. We don't know yet. But so that's cool. It's been quite amusing to see people's reactions, ranging from "Oh wow, Dragon Quest is being acknowledged at last," to "Dragon Quest is irrelevant. It shouldn't be in Smash Brothers."
Oh, that's terrible. No. That's wrong, man. I mean, Smash Brothers is. It's not just a fighting game. It really is like it's a celebration of video game history up to this point. So to say that Dragon Quest hasn't had some impacts on pretty much every JRPG and RPG that came after it,
Dragon Quest invented the JRPG.
I know it's it's an essential game.
Yeah.
Also,
so it deserves to be in Smash.
Let's not forget that there's more people in the world who play Smash than just the American fighting game scene. And for Japan, in which Dragon Quest is practically a religion, this is tremendous. Just because its cultural relevance isn't cemented here, for Japan, where Smash Brothers is made by Japanese people, this is tremendous.
Yeah, if you care to look for them, there's some really interesting articles I've seen posted this week to do with sort of the history of Dragon Quest's cultural impact, and sort of talking about after Dragon Quest III pretty much brought the country to a standstill, they sort of had to request them to release them on days when people weren't working and that sort of thing. And it's lots of interesting and amusing stories surrounding Dragon Quest's cultural impact on Japan in particular. So that's something well worth looking into. So that's cool. I'll be excited to try them out. I actually haven't played Smash for a while, so I haven't even tried out Joker yet. But it's going to be cool to
he's fun
to have some more characters involved. Yeah. Okay.
He's not great, but he's fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm just happy to have Persona 5 music again. So because
it's the best there. The best part of it. Honestly, the best part of Joker in Smash is the Persona stage and the music.
Yeah.
I don't love playing as him, but it's great to have those Persona. Also, I told you, right, about the spirit battles. The Persona so when you get a new character in Smash, you also get themed spirit battles around that are exclusive that unlock with them. So you get a spirit board when you buy Joker that's only Persona 5 characters.
Oh, cool.
And so just like all the spirit battles are cool to see how they've warped and used the mechanics available in Smash to replicate fights with those characters.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see how they do that for the Persona 5 characters. So, like, there's a really cool... Like, the Makoto battle is a battle against... I think it might be Bayonetta, or I forget who it is. It's obviously one of the girl characters.
Yeah.
But then Wario is there also summoning his motorcycle and throwing it at you.
Awesome.
But Wario is invisible. So the effect is literally there's just a sentient motorcycle launching at you all the time while you're also trying to fight this girl. Like, yeah. So like, if that happened with Persona, there's probably going to be a Dragon Quest themed spirit board.
Yeah.
With like a cute Bianca fight, maybe? Question mark. I don't know. It's going to be good.
Excellent. Bianca is my wife. Bianca is my Dragon Quest V wife. And she is the correct choice, as everyone knows. Anyway, moving on. So, the Dark Crystal Tactics. How about that, huh?
I'm pretty excited, even though I have no idea who's developing it, just because the Dark Crystal is, like, maybe top 5 movies of all time for me.
Uh-huh. I was just like, where did this come from and why? But
it's because they're developing a new series on Netflix. So this is a tie-in with the Netflix series that's being developed.
Right. Gotcha.
That's why Netflix is plastered all over the trailers.
Right. That makes more sense. Yeah, because I thought this came completely out of nowhere, but yeah.
I mean, it did come completely out of nowhere. No one expected it to also be a tie-in game, but that's why, because Dark Crystal's been making a really big resurgence lately. There's a new series in development. Over the past couple of years, there's been various comics and novels set in the universe.
Yeah. Okay. Again, not a game that we know a huge amount about yet, but they did show off a bit of gameplay as part of the trailer as well, so we can get a reasonable idea of what to expect from that. Right, moving on. Shall we talk about mana?
We shall.
A reverential sense of calmness descending over you. I can detect.
What did I text you during that? Oh, I was actually crying in the lunchroom while like all the metal workers were just staring at. There was actual tears streaming down my face when Trial of Mana was shown.
Yeah, so we've got 2 mana things. We've got Trials of Mana, which is a fully voiced remake of Seiken Densetsu 3, or Trials of Mana as it's known now. And it looks lovely. So we got some really lovely character models and gorgeous looking environments in that. So that's going to be cool. And in the meantime, we've got Collection of Mana, which people have been hoping for a very long time now, because this was a very early Switch release in Japan, wasn't it? And yeah, we finally got it. So this combines together the first Seiken Densetsu game, which was known as either Final Fantasy Adventure or Mystic Quest over here, depending on where you're from. Then we've got Secret of Mana, which people are most familiar with. And then we've got an actual English language port of Seiken Densetsu 3, or Trials of Mana, as it's now known, for the first time.
And not only that, they modified the ROM to allow for more text, so now you can get a really in-depth story. You get the official version. It's really, really neat.
Yeah.
I feel like Square's really been treating us well this year.
Yes. And the fact that they've actually done a physical release of this as well is fantastic.
So I can't express enough the historical significance of this.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought that I would be able to physically own Seiken Densetsu 3 in English.
Mm-hmm.
Without... Yes, I can go to like any like crap game store and buy a ROM, flashed ROM repro cart. That's different. Yeah. This is an official, legally sanctioned, physical copy of Seiken Densetsu 3 in English. This is a 24-year dream for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is unreal.
Yeah. So, as far as the physical release goes, I know it's very limited in Europe, so you have to pre-order it from Square Enix's store over here. It sounds like, from what you were telling me, Chris, that in North America it's a bit more widespread, so you can get it from places like Best Buy and stuff as well.
Yeah, I pre-ordered mine at Best Buy. GameStop's got it, and the Square Enix store, but Best Buy is going to give you free shipping, so don't order it from the Square Enix store. I think the shipping's like $11. It's asinine.
Yeah, it is free shipping in Europe, so if you're in Europe and you want a copy of it, then yeah, you can safely order it from the Square Enix Europe store and get free shipping on that. So, like I say, it is going to be limited in quantity in Europe, so I don't know how limited it's going to be in the States. Despite having a wider distribution, it may be that there's still not very many copies of it. So
I'm sure it's only going to get one pressing.
Yeah, so if you
please pre-order it. Like, don't gamble on this.
Yeah, if you want it, order it. Basically. So yeah, I'm excited to explore these because Mana in general is not a series that I know very well, so at some point I'll be doing a proper big feature on all of these games and actually exploring them in depth for the first time, so I'm very excited about that.
Mana would be prime for you to do one of your deep dives like you did with Sonic.
Yeah,
because the series has explored so many different genres and interesting mechanics and just kind of become a set. Really, it has become like a playground for exploration of mechanics.
Yeah.
Like unified by a visual presentation and atmosphere, but just an exploration of all kinds of games.
Yeah. Yeah, so looking forward to that at some point. It will definitely happen. So the physical release is out in August here, so it'll be sometime after that. All right, continuing on, they put The Witcher 3 on Switch, and I don't know how the fuck they did that.
Is it cloud-based? Like, I don't know what's happening.
So yeah, The Witcher 3 is coming to Switch in the complete edition, so it's The Witcher and all the big expansions and the smaller DLC bits that it got as well. So yeah, you'll be able to play The Witcher 3 on the go. As I say, I have no idea how good this is going to be, how it's going to perform or anything like that. Certainly the trailer, if it was indicative of what to expect, certainly nothing to complain about there. And The Witcher 3 is a great game, so yeah, if you've not played it yet, then you will be able to take it with you in your pocket. Just remember to look away from people when you have one of the naughty scenes. Yeah, continuing on, we saw a bit more of Link's Awakening, which is looking absolutely lovely. This is one of my favourite Zelda games. And the sort of toy-like aesthetic is absolutely perfect for the kind of dreamlike atmosphere. The thing that I was most interested in was something that they just sort of slipped into the presentation and didn't really sort of make a huge deal of. But there's this thing called Chamber Dungeons, where you can basically collect dungeon rooms and then make your own dungeon. Which is very exciting because it may well be sort of testing the waters for a Zelda maker. But either way, it looks like it's going to be fun. So you'll be able to generate your own custom dungeons and run through them, and presumably share them with people online as well. So that's looking like it's going to be cool. Moving on, there's a new Contra game coming. Do you want to talk a bit about this, Chris? Because I think you've looked up a bit more information on this than I have, and you know Contra better than I do.
Just there's a new Contra on the way. It's called Contra Rogue Core. They have stated that very specifically the development team is really focusing on making this fun to play multiplayer, which is really at the heart of what Contra's always been wonderful for. So that it's cool that they've got that in mind while they're making this. It is not a Contra with the traditional side-scrolling perspective. It is introducing a top-down twin-stick model, which is not alien to Contra by any means. I know a lot of people are like, this isn't Contra because it's not a side scroller, but well, actually, Contra 3 had top down segments. There was a full top down, slightly isometric Contra game on the PS1. One of the Contra games on PS2 was also isometric top down game, and it was fabulous. So there's a history of Contra games exploring this perspective. It's not always just been a side scroller. I don't know. It looks like a good kind of irreverent fun. Just violence and explosions everywhere. There's a really weird cast of characters. There's an alien you can be, like cyborg panda bear man, a girl who's like possessed by an alien that she's in like a symbiotic relationship with. Like just wacko character designs, like gross out enemies, explosions. Like it's Contra. It's going to be fun. I'm going to buy it. It's getting a physical release, and it is being developed by Japanese developers, so literally no reason not to buy this and support it and tell Konami you want Contra to continue living.
Yeah, definitely. So that's cool. Moving on, I actually wrote down Demon X Machina, but I haven't actually watched any of their sort of subsequent gameplay that they've showed of that. Have either of you caught any of the new stuff for that?
I just watched
I'm afraid I have not. No.
Yeah. I know that on Nintendo's channel on YouTube, they've got like sort of 30 to 40 minutes of new gameplay, and I saw I can't remember if it was a tweet or something as part of one of the Treehouse videos, but they were sort of saying that they had made a specific point to take on board the feedback that they got from the prototype missions demo that they released a while back.
Yes.
And so if you quite liked it but maybe bounced off it a bit, it's probably still going to be worth having a look at the new stuff to see if it's addressed some of the things that people criticised about it. I actually really enjoyed the prototype missions.
Yeah, me too.
And so yeah, I'm interested to see how this ends up.
I can't speak from a place of cognitive dissonance because I knew I was going to buy this game 30 seconds into the original reveal of it last year. So whatever. I can't wait. Also, I want that doofy controller that Hori's making that turns the Switch into a beast.
Oh yeah. So Hori has made a new controller that's sort of designed to go along with Demon X Machina, but it will presumably work with anything, and it basically replaces the Joy-Cons with it's pretty much two halves of a Pro controller. So it's got full size buttons, it's got a proper D-pad, it's got triggers in quite a weird place because it's not on the grips, it's actually sort of on the back of the system from what I've seen.
That's fairly common for controllers that are made specifically for shooters.
Yeah. Okay. But they've said that like the other sort of third-party Hori stuff they've done, like the individual Joy-Con that's got the D-pad that they did for like Zelda and stuff, I think, that it's going to be lacking stuff like NFC, and I don't think it's got the gyro controls in it or anything like that. So it's just a controller designed for playing stuff handheld, and I don't think you can use it as a standalone controller. It has to be used in handheld mode. But if you're playing it on your TV anyway, why aren't you using a Pro controller? Yeah. So, all right. Moving on, we actually saw some footage of the Panzer Dragoon remake. What did you think of this, Chris? Or Joe as well.
When those horns blared up, I knew.
Yeah.
Like, just I was done. I was like, I don't even know if I can watch it like without getting like emotionally. It looks proper. What else can I say? It doesn't look bad. It looks good. I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah. Joe, do you know Panzer Dragoon at all?
No, I've only heard of it. It's one of those things that I just ended up missing out on, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a series I know well as well, aside from reputation. Like my sole experience with it to date has been in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, in which it's a really fun track, to be fair. But you know, racing around as Amy, and that is probably a different experience from playing the actual game. But yeah, it looks cool. I saw some people making some comments about the relative speed of it compared to the Saturn original, but I don't really know where they're coming from because I have no context there.
Why wouldn't you want it to be faster?
Yeah,
the Saturn games have not aged well. 3D on the Saturn in general has not aged well. And specifically, the original Panzer Dragoon is a game that people with motion sickness have a lot of issues with.
Yeah.
Because it has a very slow plotting. I want to use the word liquid-like. It's like it just feels like the whole thing has got like this, like, flowy feel to it that's a little off-putting, and some people get sick playing it. It's foggy. The textures are odd. So this is wonderful because it's really going to bring the designs and the artistic merit of the original Panzer to a modern, more playable platform. It's This is good. Hopefully it turns out well. And I remember when this was revealed months ago, there was discussion about kind of updating it for modern audiences and including some elements of progression and some RPG-like stuff to it, which would be great because the original Panzer, while wonderful, it's just an arcadey experience. You play it through for score. So it's cool if they're going to add some kind of item collection or... In my dream world, I'd be able to collect cool armor for the dragon or something. But this is all just posturing.
Yeah,
postulating.
I think this trailer also made kind of gave some people a bit more faith as well, because I know when it was first announced, some people were a little bit concerned that the people who announced it were they up until that point they'd primarily been a developer of mobile games, but I think sort of seeing that trailer now and how sort of authentic it looks to the original, how impressive the graphics look, how good the speed is and that sort of thing, I think that's going to set a lot of people's minds at rest, which is
being
good.
Made with love and respect, clearly.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly not a cheap knockoff, certainly. All right, last thing I had from Nintendo is Astral Chain. So would either of you like to comment on what we've seen from Astral Chain so far?
It's platinum, baby. What else?
I love platinum. I love action. I love, absolute insanity. This is what it looks like. So I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I already got my pre-order in.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna play it end of August.
Yeah. Oh God, is it that soon? Jesus Christ!
It is.
Why are so many games coming out in like these 3 months? It's insane.
September is the worst.
Yeah.
Demon X Machina is September as well.
I am going to die in September of all the September releases.
Isn't Trails 3 in September?
Yes.
Oh,
Code Vein is also in September, and so is AI the Somnium Files. So
I thought this month was bad.
It's September.
The next 4 months are bad.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I will prepare my wallet accordingly.
Like I was telling you, I don't know what to even order. Peach Ball and Umahara Kawase Fresh come out on the same day in the States. I don't even know what to do.
Yeah. Back to Astral Chain. I watched a couple of things that Nintendo put out again on their channel on YouTube. They've got some more in-depth gameplay and stuff on there, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. There's also a great video that's 3 things you didn't know about Astral Chain, and number 3 is there are a lot of cats in this game, and you can pick them up and pet them.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. So I'm quite happy about that.
So my whole thing about this game, and this is like my weird, obscure game knowledge coming out. Are any of you guys familiar with Chaos Legion for the PS1?
For the
PS2. The PS2. I'm sorry.
Not really. No.
So Chaos Legion is this really weird Japanese action 3D character action game that was developed by Capcom for the PS2. And the whole thing of the game is you're this knight, and you have these haunted spirit knight friends you summon that are called legions that you control to assist you in battle, and they're tethered to you by this chain of energy. And this is the same thing. The little robot dudes you summon are called legions in this as well.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Go watch. This is. I'm not knocking this. Chaos Legion was a brilliant game that got 0 recognition. But this reminds me so much of the spirit of Chaos Legion returning, which makes me smile because it was one of the PS2 games that I would try to sell people on and always get yelled at. so
yeah, I do own a copy. That I've managed to pick up for not very much money at some point. I just haven't tried it yet, so yeah, that's pushing it up my list a bit. Intrigued to try that. I was just looking them up and seeing if there's any developers in common, but it doesn't look that way. I
tried to do that and I couldn't find anything. But spiritually, it's so similar in concept.
Yeah, the main guy who's credited behind it is mostly involved with Street Fighter now from the look of things. He's done a few things with Monster Hunter, but most of his stuff seems to be to do with Street Fighter 4 and 5 at the minute. So
yeah, it's Ono, right? It was Ono.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Platinum Platinum is built from the ashes of Clover, which was Capcom.
Capcom.
So, like, the likelihood that a couple people might have worked on Chaos Legion or were around Capcom and fondly remember Chaos Legion, like, some of that DNA could be there, even if some of the same people aren't there.
Yeah.
Because this was during, like, prime Clover time when Chaos Legion was made. Chaos Legion wasn't a Clover game, but it was. This was while Clover was making things like Okami and Beautiful Joe and PNO3 and God Hand.
Were they all Clover? I didn't realise some of those were Clover. I have to check those out for sure. I knew Beautiful Joe was obviously in Okami, but I didn't know that PNO3 and what was the other one you said?
God Hand.
God Hand. I didn't know that was them.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, yeah. So Astral Chain looking very cool indeed. So anything else from Nintendo that either of you would like to mention before we move on?
Trying to think, but that pretty much covers it. I mean, Luigi's Mansion looks great.
Oh yeah.
I'll be looking forward to playing Link's Awakening all over again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is one of a couple of Zelda games I've played lots of times at this point. So I've played Link to the Past a lot of times, and I've played Link's Awakening lots of times. So it would be nice to revisit it from a new perspective.
Gonna blow all my credit out the window here for the first time. Never played Link's Awakening.
Oh.
Did not have a Game Boy growing up. Never played Link's Awakening.
Oh, it's good. It's real good. Also, Marin.
Yeah, Marin's cute. I know there's Goombas up in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful. And I've read a lot about the history of its development and stuff. But yeah, I didn't have a Game Boy growing up. I never played it. And I never looked back to play it because I'm not a huge Zelda guy.
Yeah.
But many people have told me that Link's Awakening is the Zelda for people who aren't super into Zelda. Like, it feels a little different and weird, and it's kind of its own beast.
I mean, it's got a bunch of elements in there that you don't see in... you don't see in the other 2D Zeldas. So there's sort of a few side-on segments. There's jumping. There's lots of stuff like that. It does feel... It feels like Zelda, but it also feels like something very different as well. So, yeah, definitely worth looking at. And it looks like this new remake is going to kind of sort of leverage those feelings nicely. So,
yeah. The other thing about Link's Awakening is that they borrowed heavily from Mario. There are a lot of Mario enemies in that Zelda, and even some of the characters, like there's one character, I forgot his name, he looks like Mario, you meet him early in the game.
Yeah.
And, it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in that new art style.
Yes, there's stuff like Chain Chomps and stuff in there. There's Dr. Wright from SimCity's in it as well.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that.
So there's a bunch of little cheeky Nintendo references in there, and like Dr. Wright even plays the right music from SimCity. It's delightful. It's lovely. Okay, so that's Nintendo. So just to wrap up today then, I've just got a couple of things that sort of announced around E3, not necessarily at E3, but certainly around the same period as well. So the first one we've got is that Torchlight 2 is getting a physical console release on PS4, Xbox One and Switch. That's coming on September the 3rd. Again, like we talked about earlier with Minecraft Dungeons being sort of the accessible take on the dungeon crawler, Torchlight is another sort of good gateway game to this because it's got dark elements, but it's also got quite an appealing art style. It's kind of akin to sort of Warcraft's art style, isn't it? From what I remember, it's been a long time since I actually played it.
Well, it's former Blizzard people.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So it kind of has a very strong Diablo feel to it. But it's also got some interesting and unique elements in there as well. Like you have a pet that can sort of, if you've got too much loot on you, you can send your pet back to go and sell all your stuff at town and that sort of thing. And lots of nice little quality of life things in there. It's got a good
fishing mini game.
Yeah. It's got a nice sense of humour. It's fun. It's got some interesting character classes and skills and abilities and stuff in there. So yeah, this should be a good action RPG for those who are maybe looking for something that isn't as grimdark heavy metal as Diablo is. So that's cool. The other thing I wanted to bring up was that Sekai Games, which is the sort of the less visual novel side of Sekai Project, have announced or confirmed a bunch of stuff for PlayStation 4, including some VR stuff. So this a lot of it is stuff that has been out for a while on other platforms. For example, Root Double is coming to Switch. That has been out on PC for ages. I forget if it came to PlayStation platforms, but it's coming to Switch as well. This is a very well regarded visual novel adventure game. A lot of people sort of compare it to in terms of sort of theme and atmosphere to the Zero Escape series, so it's a similar kind of atmosphere to that sort of thing. I haven't played it yet, but someone was actually kind enough to gift me a copy on Steam about 5 years ago, and I still haven't played it yet, so apologies. I will get to it eventually. I haven't forgotten. Other things that are coming up is Project Lux, which actually limited run let out of the bag before Sekai Games did. This is a virtual reality, I don't know if I want to call it a game, because it's mostly a sort of narrative experience. So the concept behind Project Lux is that you're in a futuristic courtroom, and in order to sort of get to the bottom of the case, you're experiencing the memories of various people. And so I think it's set up in such a way that you're part of the jury and you have to experience the memories of the defendant or something like that. So it's mostly going to be kind of a narrative experience in which you sort of passively observe things going on, but in VR. So if you've ever played a sort of more character-centric VR experience, like something like Summer Lesson or something like that, then this is probably going to provide a similar kind of thing to that. Other stuff that they've got coming: Fault Milestone 1 is coming to Switch, PS4 and PlayStation Vita. I don't know a huge amount about this aside from the fact that, again, it's a very well regarded visual novel, so that's coming to more platforms. One that I'm quite excited to see is Tokyo Chronos. This was a PlayStation VR a virtual reality visual novel that has been out on Steam for a little while. It had a Kickstarter, if I remember correctly, but it's now coming to PlayStation VR, and that's going to be out in August of 2019. This was developed by a company called My Dearest, who aren't terribly well known, but they made a kinetic novel a while back called School of Talents that I really enjoyed. So they have a real sort of talent for character-centric storytelling, so I'm excited to see what they do with VR. It's something they've been sort of keen to explore for a long time. Other stuff, Heart of the Woods was a very well received game when it was released on PC a while back. I think it's a Yuri visual novel. Again, don't know a huge amount about it because I haven't played it, but it was sort of a big deal when it came out because people really enjoyed it. World End Economica is a series that's been running for quite a while, and they're putting the complete thing on Switch, PS4 and Vita in winter of this year. This was, if I remember correctly, written by the guy who wrote Spice and Wolf, I think. I think that's right. It's certainly written by someone very high profile, so it's sort of got some good storytelling talent behind it. And then there is Narcissu, which is a series of tearjerkers. So if you ever wanted to cry a lot, then check this out. This is coming to Switch and PlayStation 4 in winter of 2019. And then finally, the final thing they announced is Undead Darlings, No Cure for Love, which is a dungeon crawler combined with visual novel and dating sim with zombie girls, cute zombie girls. So Chris might be interested in this one.
Yeah, that game's interesting because it's been around like the crowdfunding circuit for years.
Yes,
failing to be crowdfunded.
It's sort of failed on Kickstarter several times, but it looks like it's got a lot of potential behind it. And it's certainly got a very passionate development team behind it, and it's got nice art, and it looks like it's got some interesting presentation in the battle screens. So it's got a really sort of stylish look to it. And the fact that it's a dungeon crawler rather than a straight visual novel might bring some people on board who might not engage with some of Sekai's other stuff. So, like
this guy.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm interested to see how that turns out. It's good that it seems to finally be moving forward, because I know that the first couple of times that the crowdfunding efforts failed, I know the developers were really bummed about it. So it's good to see that they're getting the opportunity to actually make the thing that they've been trying to make for years at this point. And that's everything I've got on my list. So is there anything you guys want to bring up that has either happened at E3 or adjacent to E3 before we wrap up for today?
I've got two little things.
Okay.
Today, this morning, it was teased that Nicholas might be doing a physical pressing of Ikaruga.
Oh, yes.
For modern consoles, Switch and PS4. Which is great, because Ikaruga is one of the great masterpieces of the modern era. And whenever we can buy a game made by Treasure, we do so that we can ensure that they still exist in the shadows.
Yeah.
Until one day they release something new on us.
You never know.
The other thing... Oh, I'm sorry, did you have more?
No.
The other thing that was cool to me, I'm a big fan of the Darksiders series, and as part of Stadia, the announcements about Stadia before E3 was revealed that there is a new Darksiders game on the way, which is pretty cool. And what's interesting about this one is it's called Darksiders Genesis, and it's a prequel that's going to introduce the Horseman Strife for the first time as playable, which he has not been in-game available yet in any of the previous titles. But what's really cool about this is it's being developed by Airship Syndicate, which is the development team responsible for Battle Chasers Night War last year.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Airship Syndicate is the developer who spun off of Vigil Games when Vigil Games died, which was Vigil was the original developer of Darksiders 1 and 2. And then they went under, and then some of their employees went to THQ proper and produced the most recent Darksiders 3. Some of the developers, including Joe Madura, the comic book artist who founded Vigil Games, went on to found Airship Syndicate. So, for those not super familiar with the history of Darksiders, Joe Madura is a comic book artist who is perhaps most famous for his original comic Battle Chasers. Darksiders is his baby. Like, from the get-go, he created this world, he created these characters. A lot of people were really unhappy that Darksiders 3 did not involve him at all. He didn't design any of the new characters. He just wasn't involved in the world. So it's really cool that this new spin-off Darksiders prequel game is back in Madura's hands in a studio that he's involved in again. It is not a big 3D action game with Zelda influence like the prior three Darksiders titles. That's why it's not numbered. It actually appears to be a Diablo-inspired top-down action game. So it's going to have a bit more of a snappy, arcadey feel to it. I don't know if loot is in the picture or not, but it looks like it's got some twin-sticky business going on. So I can't wait to play this, because I really like this world. I really like the character designs.
Cool. Yeah, that was the one good thing to come out of the Stadia presentation, wasn't it?
And now PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Stadia. So it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere.
Yeah. Cool. All right, anything else you want to bring up, Jay?
I didn't have very much, although I did want to bring up that that game I mentioned at the start, Fatal 12. It is available on Play Asia, and I love it. So if you wanted to get it physical, multi-language, I think they're taking pre-orders for it now, or soon. So definitely check it out. I think I can safely say it's a recommendation for me after 10 hours of playing it.
Cool.
So
cool. Yeah,
that's all I've got.
It's one I've had my eye on for a bit as well. So yeah, you're hearing good things from you about it. It's definitely making me interested. All right, good stuff. Let's wrap up there then. So first of all, Joe, would you like to tell people where to find you online and catch your streams and so on?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a total Twitch junkie, but you can find me typically weeknights between 7 and 10:30 p.m. On weeknights, Eastern. That's Eastern time. I know that's kind of late for you folks, but can always catch the VODs to see what you missed out on.
Will you be doing any streams from the bathroom this week?
I'm not going to be playing Melty Blood, if that's what you're asking, but we could be doing that sometime in the future, I guess.
I think you missed the reference. There was some inappropriate behavior this week, shall we say.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole Doctor Disrespect thing. Yeah, I knew about that.
Oh,
so
Yeah.
Twitch.
Yeah. So that's Joe. So check his stuff out. And Chris, where can people find you and commission you and give you money?
MrGilderPixels.com or on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr is Mr. Gilder Pixels. Just polished off a new Final Fantasy themed painting that I'll be doing some photos of in the near future and posting, so keep an eye out.
Cool. And as always, you can find my stuff on MoeGamer.net. Kind of winding down before a holiday at the end of June at the minute, so we'll be back with a new cover game feature at the start of July. I'll also be kicking off the Final Fantasy Marathon video series at the beginning of July as well when I get back from holiday. So, in the meantime, there's lots of stuff to read on there. I just passed 1,000 articles posted on MoeGamer the other day, so that's quite a nice milestone to reach finally.
Congrats.
Dropping my controller on the floor while we do that. But yes, anyway, so as always, thank you very much for watching and or listening. Thank you to both of you for joining me for this discussion. It was a lot of fun. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. Be sure to check out MoeGamer.net for new articles on Japanese and Japanese-inspired video games, new and old, every weekday. Every month, MoeGamer features an in-depth exploration of an individual game or series as its cover game, so be sure to check the archives to see if your favourite has had a deep dive yet. If you'd like to support the site directly, please consider becoming a patron or buying me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.